TV, the tunes. A totally awesome year that gave us even more burning questions. How did my two dads make a baby?
My two dads is a medical miracle.
Was there a hidden meaning behind pour some sugar on me?
On his
And what happens when you say Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, bitch?
You die? He dies? Somebody dies?
The answers to those questions, plus a famous bush, another famous bush, and the wheat fest known as beaches.
bring on the terminal sickness.
Because you can't get enough 80s, because you're still sporting those strategically ripped jeans, admit it. This is 1988 Strikes Back.
Susan, I'm not married.
You're not?
No. I'm a child.
Big is the best movie of all time.
Big. Yes, with Tom Hanks.
Blood grinds!
If it's a Sunday afternoon and you just got out of the shower and Big is on, you will sit balls naked on the end of the bed until that movie is over because it's that good.
The story of the young boy who wants to grow up and goes to the carnival and puts his coin in the Zoltar machine. I've been frightened of this machine since.
I wish I were big.
The next morning he wakes up and he's in underoos, I think.
The second I look in my underwear and find out I've grown up, I'll give you a call.
And then, of course, the very, very famous piano scene in FAO Schwartz.
He's doing it with the head of this huge toy company, and he just decides, this guy's got spark. He's got exactly what we need.
And ends up with the greatest job in the world and the greatest apartment in the world. Big loft, bunk beds, and a pinball machine.
It's every small child's wet dream.
My favorite scene in the whole movie is the part where he goes to the big party and he picks up the little hors d'oeuvre corns, you know, those little tiny things, and he's like...
Big is the reason that I still eat baby corn.
And the first time he eats caviar, and it's just like... you know, and like just spits it out.
I got a car outside. You want to get out here?
Naughty girls need love.
Everybody's favorite scene is she wanted to do it.
Do you mean sleep over?
Well, yeah.
Okay. But I get to be on top.
You sleep up there on the top bunk. I got the bottom, you know.
Elizabeth Perkins, you know, as they're about to have sex, shuts off the light, as we adults tend to do. And he reaches over and turns the light back on.
bang your head. I used to be at home drunk, coming home from somewhere, going, let's see what's on Headbangers Ball.
You couldn't see Exodus, Testament, you know what I mean, except for on the ball.
I always remember, like, Poison being on Headbangers Ball, and I used to go, what? Get them off of there. Nobody bangs their head at a Poison concert unless I'm there and I'm doing it for them. Poison fan.
I always thought that on Headbangers Ball, the videos outshone the hosts.
Adam Curry here to kick off 3 hours of non-stop headbanging.
Well, my favorite host was Adam Curry because he was so out of place there.
Before you mosh, you gotta rock it.
Adam Curry was like doing this kind of headbanger Superman act where he was like kind of the squeaky clean, blonde Daryl Hall looking guy.
Good afternoon. Of course, this is Dial MTV.
And suddenly he'd put on this super tacky leather jacket that nobody would wear except like some Jersey chick.
I'm Ricky Rackman, and we're on the Headbangers Ball.
I think Ricky Rackman was the perfect host for Headbangers Ball.
It was much better when they got Ricky because Ricky came from the hard rock scene.
Let's give my pal, Nikki Sixx from Motley Crue, a phone call.
He looked like he was like the fifth member who couldn't play an instrument in all these metal bands.
Headbangers Ball, I just knocked all the rest of my 80s memories to the ground.
I wonder if the next ever got hurt. Because they did it for the whole 2 hours. I got dizzy just now.
Oh, God, I loved ripped jeans.
It was like wearing glorified shorts. There was cuts here, and there would be like frayed all over the place. I used to wear these things to work. What was I thinking?
And there was always like the butt crease rip, so like just a flash of a cheek.
I got married in a pair of jeans with my butt hanging out, no underwear.
Then there's the crotch rip, which I think is risque, particularly if you're male.
I don't wear underwear.
They were rather drafty. I never actually ripped the jeans myself.
Some people use scissors, which was wrong. With a razor, you can kind of get a little jagged edge thing happening.
Yeah, the funny thing about ripped jeans is that you would pay like $300 for ripped jeans.
You don't go to a store and buy ripped jeans. You fall down, and then they're ripped. It's a badge of honor.
The best was when you had that one pair that actually got a natural rip, and you would just watch it sort of develop and open up, and it was just, sort of that, maybe having a child, when you saw your knee kind of pop out of there, you're like, oh, my ripped jeans.
What do you think of this?
I love the movie Beetlejuice. It was really like fun to see the afterlife not taken so seriously.
Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis get killed and lose their home. And then there's these weirdo people who move in.
If my memory serves me correctly, I believe I auditioned for Beetlejuice. I lost to Winona Ryder. Anywho, yeah.
There was that great scene where they're having dinner and they start singing Deo.
The ghosts are controlling them.
Daylight come and we want to go home.
Their square yuppie couple's idea of scaring these people out of the house is by making them like move all funny and dance around the table.
Come, Mr. Tallyman, tally my banana.
And at the end, they're all like happy, like they just had a party.
I didn't even know I could do the calypso.
That's more fun than us.
Michael Keaton as the single most annoying character ever captured on film.
Beatles.
I don't know what happens when you say Beetlejuice 3 times. What happens? You die? He dies? Somebody dies?
Just say it! Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. Nothing.
Wouldn't that be awesome if I just said 3 Beetlejuices and I vanished?
You get chocolates. That's what it is, isn't it? You get those little Hanukkah coins.
It's showtime.
It brings him into your life and makes him really powerful. And he's unpredictable and he's dangerous. I smell a new boyfriend.
I'm the ghost with the most, babe.
The breakup songs of 1988.
I, Boy George, console you with the breakup songs of 1988. Every Rose Has Its Thorn by Poison. Don't Know What You've Got Till It's Gone by Cinderella. And Look Away by Chicago. The breakup songs of 88. Aren't you prepared to let go now?
I think Who Framed Roger Rabbit was probably one of the most genius films I ever seen.
Roger Rabbit is framed for the murder of somebody who had a safe dropped on him.
and he hires a private detective, Bob Hoskins, to help him.
I didn't kill anybody. I swear.
I didn't know Bob Hoskins was British.
I couldn't do a straight LA accent. I had to do LA Street because Eddie's a bit of a tough man.
Get out of that chair.
Imagine not only having to do a different voice, but then having to play to something that isn't there. Like it's hitting you or you're walking behind. It was brilliant.
I loved Roger. I thought he was insane but completely lovable.
Please, don't mind me. Hide me, Eddie. Please, Eddie, please.
My uncle had the same speech impediment. It was not a laughing matter around our house. Please, pass the yam.
That rabbit, he had some serious issues. I think he had really bad management, too.
Judge Dill, he freaked me out.
And they all had to worry about the paint thinner.
He calls it the dip.
He'd be taking the poor little things and putting them in the big barrels of acid. It creeped me out a little bit.
You had plenty money, 1922.
Oh, man. Now, she's somebody I definitely will go out with, even if she was a cartoon.
I'm not bad.
I'm not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Why don't you do right?
Why this really beautiful looker was married to Roger Rabbit? How did that ever work out?
Come on, Roger, let's go home. I'll bake you a carrot cake.
Cartoons coming to life with real people. They're interacting with each other. It's just a fun movie.
That's all, folks.
Billy Ocean's videos were almost as bad as mine.
Get out of my dreams and into my car.
It was fun and upbeat and fluffy, just like so much of the music back then.
I don't know if I like the song as much as I like the line. It's a very direct line.
I think that pickup lines are bad, and I think that would probably be one of the worst ones you could possibly say.
I would have gotten into his car if I was the one in his dream.
Oftentimes, an attractive Caribbean man will approach me, and he'll use one of his lame pickup lines. Hey, you know what? Let me just drink my Red Stripe. If Billy comes up and he says, get out of my dream, get into my car, check please.
I just love the part where it modulates up, where it's like, get out of my, get out of my, get out of my. It was just such a oh yeah, we're taking it to the next level.
Was I a fan of get out of my dreams, get into my car? Hello? Do the words greatest song ever written mean anything to you?
Hey, oh my God! It's the Jamaican bobsled team! What an oxymoron. The Jamaicans have a bobsled team. It was like a Cinderella story.
We're in Jamaica. There's no snow here. What the hell are we doing?
They practice back of the house in a little shed with a big blunt. Imagine if we did this. Imagine if we did that.
The Jamaican bobsled team uncovered the obvious, horrible truth that bobsledding is not a sport. It's a ride.
I think that whole sled was just a big bomb.
I would love to be hitting a big spliff coming down a bobsled. You wouldn't even get cold.
Now, surprisingly, they did terribly.
They were so hilarious that they made a movie about it called Cool Running.
Everybody was rooting for them, not only because it was just a great story, but I think they all thought that pot would be legalized if they won.
There are certain times in people's careers when one star is rising and one star is falling, and they intersect. Greg Evigan had his heyday with BJ and the Bear. Paul Reiser was an up-and-coming comic. They met here at My Two Dads.
My Two Dads is a medical miracle. This was a series about a child that had been created from two men.
Congratulations. It's a girl.
There's something weird going on. It was like, we're gay, we're not. I don't know.
This is not what it looks like.
It's an absolutely disgusting premise. Hey, little girl, bad news. Your mom's dead, and she was a slut. We have no idea who your dad is. He's probably one of these two guys. So just live with them.
Right now, I'm having a difficult time understanding anything.
Those two dads were cool because they both had different qualities.
Paul Reiser's kind of like a Jewish mother. He looks worried all the time. He's hurrying around.
I only care what this kid does. When did I grow my father's finger?
One of them was a little bit younger acting and fun, and she could talk to him a little bit different. You're poor. You have to live here.
And how did they become friends? Like, hey, we slept with the same girl. Let's raise a child.
I was happy for Paul and Greg when they finally got together. We had all wanted it to happen. I thought it was a mitzvah.
1988 was a presidential election year, but more importantly, it was the year of the suction cup cat. People were taking Garfield cats with suctions on their paws and sticking them to the inside of their windows, like a cat was so scared by how you were driving that it actually went, ow, and clawed the glass.
Just think about the people like getting in their back seat and kind of cramped and like licking it to make sure it's stuck.
Why is that bitch just going across 5 lanes? Oh, I know why. She has a Jesus fish and a Garfield stuck in her back mirror. Oh, it's okay. I didn't realize you were a Garfield person. You can do whatever you want to do.
Oh, look at that fun cat. Oh, I just got an offender bender. Certainly that's not a safe thing to cover up your blind spot.
I remember there were all these robberies in North Hollywood, 15-year-old punks breaking into cars and stealing them for their girlfriends. And I just thought, like, dude, that's no way to get a girl.
You might not want to park your Porsche 911 out there with the Garfield thing in it. They're going to break your window, steal your Garfield. What happened? Oh, man, someone took my Garfield.
My friends and I did the exact opposite. My mom would keep buying them, and we would take them out of the car, smash her window, and throw them in the back seat as the car was driving away, just to get rid of it.
Coming up, the ultimate chick flick.
Bitches? No, I didn't see Peaches.
Plus, dance critics weigh in on the icky shuffle.
I scored a touchdown.
Yeah. And hey, Def Leppard, watch where you're pouring that sugar.
Kind of weird to have granulated sugar in your ass crack.
Next on I Love the 80s Strikes Back, 1988. And now for Donald Loeb's unfinished thoughts on Garfield.
Hey, why's she crying? Someone stole her Garfield. Oh, no! I don't know how it would survive if someone stole my Garfield with the suckers on its paws. Hang in there.
Pop Jam of 1988.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Doug E. Fresh. 1988 changed the game again. Mary, Mary, why you bugging? Mary, Mary, I need your hugging. The 1988 hip-hop classic is Mary, Mary from Run DMC. Aight?
Beaches is about 2 women who, through some medical quirk, are constantly menstruating.
You have been a total bitch ever since you came to New York. I'm crying because I'm happy. It's the ultimate girl movie. So you would have to drag a guy to see that type of movie.
Bitches? No, I didn't see Peaches.
I'm not ashamed to say that Beaches is one of my all-time favorite movies.
You gotta win a little. Bette Midler is like the spicy wild friend.
But enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think of me?
Barbara Hershey is the more centered and practical one.
I'm an attorney with the ACLU. And they meet up when they're very little girls.
You just happen to be the most fantastic person I've ever met in my entire life.
I am?
Was I more of a Bette or more of a Barbara Hershey? I think more of a Barbara Hershey, minus the falsely inflated lips. That really bothered me. The collagen lips.
I just walked out of my life.
They go through breakups and all kinds of things you go through in life, and then bring on the terminal sickness.
I want to go. Okay. It's a comedy.
The song went beneath my wings.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
I love that song. I would turn the volume all the way up on my little karaoke machine. I just would sing my heart out.
I love to go to a movie just to sob and to feel like your whole family died. I cried like a baby. It was like this kind of cry, like, oh.
Anything with Bette Midler Barbara Hershey, Wind Beneath My Wings, and Dying. That's a quartet that just keeps me away from the theater. I'll go see the Arnie movie in 1988, no matter how bad it is.
That was a beautiful song.
Charles in Charge was the network's apology to Scott Baio for Joni Loves Chachi.
And that theme song is creepy. I want Charles in charge of my days and my nights, of my wrongs and my rights. People don't give dominatrixes this much power.
Scott Baio's character is in college taking care of these two girls, but he's getting credit in school in Pimping 101.
I also do expert mopping.
Every episode would begin with, like, bitch, go make my money. And he'd send the kids out.
I want a beautiful blonde girl.
Scott Baio has always been pressy in his eye on tomorrow. He knew that he had to nail Nicole Eggert before she went out of his reach on Baywatch.
Hey, Charles. Willie Ames, who was kind of like the loser pain in the ass friend.
Willie Ames played Buddy and had some sort of speech impediment that he couldn't say Charles. He would say, Charles. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Charles. Over here.
There are a lot of male babysitters across the country that were like, where's my voice? Where can I hang my hat? And it was Charles.
You're the best babysitter we ever had.
Thank you.
Fish Called Wanda is a very complicated story. Let's start from the beginning.
Wanda.
Wasn't Wanda a fish?
Hey, Wendy, I wonder.
Wanda was a fish.
Hello, Wanda.
Wanda is the name of a fish and a girl. These thieves put together this huge jewelry heist, and then the whole thing starts to fall apart because they've all got their own agendas as far as who's actually going to end up with the diamonds.
Disappointed! It's about Jamie Lee Curtis looking very good.
I want you. She's basically making out with everybody.
Touch his and he's dead.
Kevin Kline rules and won an Academy Award for his role.
Oh, you English are so superior.
He had an inferiority complex.
Don't ever call me stupid. Don't call me stupid.
And he was stupid.
He's the most abusive, obnoxious, ugly American. Jamie Lee Curtis gets driven crazy when Kevin Kline speaks Italian.
Speak it, speak it! Osso buco milanese, veal chop, parmigiana, con spinaci. He basically speaks like an Italian menu.
Dove il Vaticano?
There's something funny going on.
Ken!
The stuttering character is the most likable character in the whole movie.
Where are the diamonds?
Kevin Kline tortures Michael Palin with French fries.
Better eat the green one? Okay.
And then eats all his fish.
Delicious.
Including Wanda.
Ken's coming to kill me.
I don't remember what the movie was about. I just remember John Cleese in his underwear running around.
Dolly cool.
Fish Called Wanda. Did they kill a dog in that? Stop it right there, okay? I'm calling PETA.
Ickey Woods was a rookie running back for the Cincinnati Bengals.
He just barreled his way in the end zone. A huge, bruising, 250-pound guy.
And every time he'd score a touchdown, he'd do the
icky shuffle. And he would kind of go like this with the football. And then went that way. And then he did a little more something, but I don't know because I'm a New York Giants fan.
He'd take on one leg and spike the ball.
The icky shuffle. God, those were the days, huh? That was before football players got into more cool modern things like forced sodomy on groupies.
It wasn't the best looking dance ever.
It was a solo act by a man with very few moves.
It's like national now. Everybody wants to see the icky shuffle. Everybody want to ask about the icky shuffle.
My dance would be bow, rondoulet, push the clouds, jazz hands.
I'm on the old school of like mass destruction. No dancing, just stepping on people's heads.
I scored a touchdown.
Yeah. The icky shuffle was cool. It was fun. Got played out real quick. You did that today, you'd probably get clobbered.
Well, a monster bash.
Monster bash was Jose Canseco and Mark McGuire, who they called the Bash Brothers out of the Oakland Athletics, who would just literally hit the ball out of the park.
Swung on, hit deep, way back, a grand slam from Atlanta.
One would hit a home run, the other one would meet him at the plate, and they'd He had forearms, these big, huge forearms.
The Monster Bash seemed to me like a really good way to hit your funny bone.
These guys were 80% forearm to begin with, so they had no choice really but to do this.
Everybody was doing that. Kids in the playground were doing it. The people at work were doing it. And I'm like, man, you're going to break some of these wrists. You go, bang, snapping too, man.
Out of the bone.
Saw people walking around with casts, and what happened? Trying to do the Monster Bash, man.
Very important lesson for all the kids out there back in 1988. You need to be careful with whom you bash.
This is something that is hot. It's called hypercolor, and if you put cold on it, it changes color.
What's your favorite color, baby?
I had one. Yeah, hypercolor t-shirts were totally. They were the bomb.
A hypercolor t-shirt was supposed to react to heat so that if someone slapped their hand on your chest, as happens all the time, the color would change.
It's great because it's like NASA technology used for fashion. Heat makes it happen.
All the guys would try and put their hands on your butt so that they'd have their handprints there. Was that just me?
Color.
It's supposed to turn color.
Look at that. See, it turns white.
But I see your true colors shining through.
I felt like the hypercolor ran out. After
you
a
wash
little
it
bit of time, it lasted a day.
And just have permanent marks all over it and be like, hey, my body heat's not working anymore. Just it's broken.
I think the technology for a hypercolor shirt that lasts might be out there now. Let's bring it back.
88 was like the year of Pour Some Sugar on Me.
Pour some sugar on me.
I remember thinking, pour some sugar on me.
I thought it was just some sexual type innuendo.
Pouring sugar on you. Like, honey?
I think it would be too crunchy and it would get sticky.
It's kind of weird to have granulated sugar in your ass crack.
And I still don't know what it means. Like, pour some love on me? Mac on my face? That could be it.
Def Leppard would not write a song about something bad.
On his, That's what that could have been.
Actually, the song was supposed to be sung by a grapefruit. And then they had a follow-up song that said, with a spoon you could cut me into little corners.
Coming up, the Brat Pack gets sexy out west.
Young Guns. My mom and my sister called that movie Young Buns.
Plus, one of the lousiest gifts ever.
So this is a champion.
And
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
the timeless humor of coming to America. Next on I Love the 80s Strikes Back, 1988. But first, this public service announcement.
As a writer, I love the written word. As a member of our society, I depend on it. We all do, in countless ways every day. Next time you're in a bookstore enjoying your ability to read, give a little to share that gift with the millions who can't read. Your change can change your life.
Nerds of 1988.
What's happening, hot stuff? Gary Watanabe here, bringing you the nerds of 1988. Mike Mills, REM bassist nerd. Paul from the Wonder Years, 60s nerd. And Miles Silverberg on Murphy Brown, local news nerd. The nerds of 1988. Trust me, the donger knows.
Young Guns. My mom and my sister called that movie Young Buns.
Oh, yeah, Young Guns. They were all cute. I was very boy crazy in the 80s.
Regulators! Young Guns was about Billy the Kid and the group that he rode with, the Regulators. They decided to seek revenge on the people who killed their boss.
Emilio Estevez is Billy the Kid convincing. I believed I was right there with the kid.
That he could be confronted by a whole bunch of guys with guns, and it would be this little smirk on his face, like, oh, I'm gonna kick all of y'all asses, and I'm gonna laugh when I'm done with it.
Top of the morning to you, girls.
Kiefer Sutherland, Charlie Sheen, Molly Ringwald, Anthony Michael Hall, Ali Sheedy. Oh, I'm thinking of The Breakfast Club.
Dermot Mulrooney was in there.
Lou Diamond Phillips was Chavez, and he was like the badass throwing the knives. He's hot. Casey Shamazko was Charlie Bowdre.
What did happen to Casey Shamazko? Is he a porn star?
I'm a pugilist.
Young Guns has one of the best
drug sequences, truly, ever.
Lou Diamond Phillips arranges for everybody to have peyote.
This is great. You can worry in those movies. You see people take drugs and they act like ridiculous, but it's very much a peyote trip. I mean, I was on peyote at the time, so I'm guessing.
It's 100 against 5.
It's 100 against 5.
The big kind of stand at the end where they're trapped in the house, got one chance, they had to run out the roof and hop on their horses, and right away, like getting shot, just so slow-mo.
I think it was a great idea. Get the hottest stars of the day and put them in a movie where they get to shoot guns and ride on horses. It seems like a perfect combo.
88, big year for alternative music, although, you know, those of us in the know were listening to R.E.M. back in 84. See him in concert in 86. That's all I'm saying.
Hello, I saw you, I know you, I knew you.
REM was music that you would put on just so you could nail college girls.
Nerds listen to REM in 88, in 2003, in any time. It's nerd rock.
Stand in the place that you live. Oh, now talk about direction, think about you're going then stand.
As if I didn't have enough problems being cool, now suddenly everybody's listening to REM. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Peter. Why don't you just take a knife and stab me in the throat?
I still listen to the records. I don't get it. These people are great people. They take their art very seriously. But come on, man. You can play a guitar chord. You can hold down the string. Just press a little bit harder on the fret, you wimp.
Jane's Addiction were the heroes of the Hollywood underground when hair metal was ascendant.
I got to see Jane's Addiction way early on, and Perry Farrell and Dave Navarro started making out on stage, and I thought, no, this is going to be big.
I love Jane's Addiction. I love Perry Farrell. I love Dave Navarro.
I wouldn't say that's our genre of music so much, but I mean, I'm aware of them.
They were kind of scary to me. I remember thinking that, like, they did a lot more drugs than I'd ever done.
Perry Farrell, freak, goof, dork, stupid, druggy, nuts, accidental genius.
Well, there you go.
I was proud of Jane because she was done with Sergio. Sergio treated her like a rag doll, and she was not going to take it anymore. Later, she went back to Sergio. And they're living in Pasadena now. They're very happy.
Jane is selling autographed Xeroxes of herself over the internet. So if you want to find out where Jane is, you can contact her.
The Sonic Youth album, Daydream Nation. I love that album. I still play that.
Yeah, they rocked. Man, I love Sonic Youth. King Gordon, Thurston Howell. Yeah, Thurston Howell III. Love me. Am I mixing up my Sonic Youth with my Gilligan's Island again?
All the smart people like Sonic Youth, and I listen to it and I think to myself, I need 3. 3 aspirin? No, Tylenol 3. Give me something to stop the headache that they're giving me. I don't need any more dissonance.
Read my lips. No new taxes.
Read my lips, no more taxes, got his ass in trouble. He shouldn't have said nothing.
No new taxes.
I didn't like George Bush, but the thing is that I can't remember who was running against him.
Go with the guy with the eyebrows. We're going to be okay.
The other guy almost got it. What's his name?
French kielbasa.
Bush got elected. It's like, great. You know, what's that mean for me? I got ripped jeans on and a rat dancing undercover tank top on. So I didn't really necessarily put him in the White House.
I think if I did a George Bush imitation, what I would be doing would be Dana Carvey doing a George Bush imitation and not going to do it.
Well, let me just sum up. On track, stay the course, 1,000 points of light.
1,000 points of light.
I think Barbara Bush as the first man in drag to occupy the White House was fantastic.
Thought those blue suits suited her very well.
I thought it was his mother. Please notice the hair, the makeup, designer clothes.
Hot.
Barbara Bush gave you the feeling that there was somebody solid in the White House as opposed to George Bush, who was kind of like, I don't like broccoli.
There's a new pet, Chia Pet.
the pottery that grows.
Chia Pet was a miracle of life.
Chia Pet was the little plant that was shaped like an animal, and when you poured the water into it, the grass would grow.
The purpose of the Chia Pet was nothing. It was just to look at it.
Is it Brussels sprouts that grow out of the damn thing? What the hell is it? Is it edible? Could you smoke it or something?
Nice Chia Pet.
I didn't have a Chia Pet because I had my own pubic hair.
Get enough Miracle Grow. Just be like, look, it's Richard Simmons. I've got Chia Richard Simmons.
Everyone clowned you. Look at you. You a Chia Pet. Like, your hair look crazy. You a Chia Pet.
So get one for yourself and one for that perfect gift.
Chia Pet was always the last-minute gift because you always could find it in the drugstore when all the Christmas gifts are gone.
You knew that wasn't your true friend because they were some cheap asses giving you a Chia Pet. So this is a Chia Pet.
Sorry.
Tracy Chapman was the rebirth of the folky singer-songwriter.
And it wasn't heavy-duty pop or heavy-duty metal. It was simple.
She had a good year in '88. She had a couple big hits. She had cool hair.
She's driving a fast car. I can't remember any of the lyrics.
You got a fast car.
There was a fast car. The question was it fast enough for them to get away? The answer is, Tracy wasn't prepared to get away from them up here.
It's a downer. No one's ever going to leave that town. No one's ever, her dad is dying, and oh boy.
Don't you know they're talking about a revolution? It sounds.
I'm talking about a revolution. I couldn't be more clear, and yet only really rich people in Lexus are listening to me.
I'm still faced with the same situation that I'm playing for audiences who don't really know my music.
Yeah, she's talking about a revolution. She moved to San Francisco, and then I saw her driving a very stylish black Mercedes sedan. Yeah. That's what the revolution gets you.
Talking about a revolution.
Coming up, a comedy classic. Eddie Murphy Comes to America.
Good morning, my neighbors! Yes! You too!
Next on I Love the 80s Strikes Back, 1988. But first, the what the moment of 1988.
Gilbert Gottfried here with your what the moment for 1988. In 1988, the final episode of Saint Elsewhere revealed that the entire series was a figment of the little autistic boy's imagination. Hey, Saint Elsewhere, what the
The royal penis is clean, Your Highness.
Coming to America. Oh my God. Coming to America has to be my favorite movie of all time.
We, the royal family, have riches beyond your wildest imagination. We're just like every other African dictatorship. It's a comedy.
Eddie Murphy wants to come to America to find his queen because he doesn't want an arranged marriage, and so the best place is to go to Queens.
Queens? That's a good place for women. Good morning, my neighbors! Yes! You too!
And he worked at McDowell's. Wasn't even McDonald's, it was McDowell's.
I have recently been placed in charge of garbage. And falls in love with the boss, John Amos's daughter.
What is this loser who mops the floors at my restaurant doing sniffing around my daughter when the guy I really like, the Jerry curled out IROC Z driving Daryl? That's who I want as a son-in-law.
Favorite song, go see the movies with his mom and dad and his grandparents are sitting on the couch.
The juice on the girl is on the couch when they get up. It was out of control. Just let your soul blow. I'll be with you, boy, in a minute. The barbershop scenes was bananas.
Every guy was either Arsenio or Eddie Murphy, except for one guy.
One time Frank Sinatra comes out here and sat down this chair.
You ain't never met no Frank Sinatra. I did.
No, it didn't.
Fuck you. You
and you.
Who's next? Who's next? It just wouldn't stop. Like everywhere you go, it was some funny stuff happening. Ladies and gentlemen, big round of applause for Mr. Randy Watson.
Oh, it's good. I believe the children are our future. Thank you.
Teach them well.
Treat them well and let them lead the way. Sex or chocolate? Show them all the beauty they possess inside.
And he ain't getting no reaction. He said sexual chocolate. He just stomped on the floor.
Throws the mic down, just walks off stage like he's God.
That is the craziest in the world.
Finally gets the girl to like him, and they live happily ever after.
Come on, man. That's a masterpiece. That thing was good from beginning to end.
What do you know from funny, you bastard?